LGD are victorious in Game 1 against Team WE. We're back and we're now ready to get into Game 2. And Clement, I gotta ask, WE, they looked absolutely like they were floundering in that Game 1. They gotta have something. What do they have?
Well, that's a very difficult question to answer right now.
Yeah.
I have faith in my boys, but I will tell you
look for something.
Yeah, I will tell you how I think this team has kind of faltered in summer so far.
Okay.
I think a main part of it has been Condi being off sync with the team. He's just come back. He hasn't played much in spring at all.
Yep.
And when he's came back, I feel like he had a lot of team fight mishaps, and particularly in Game 1, I felt like he didn't do enough to really stem the tide. He didn't find enough picks. You're at Talia, you have a very strong gank path into the bottom side of the map. And with the Zoe, you actually can try to target out the Gragas pre-6. Instead, he farmed up a Storm. But overall,
he was doing damage.
I don't think he did much. I don't think he did enough that game, to be honest.
Bit of a tragedy for one of the best junglers in the world to end up struggling against Amy, of all people. I mean, we heard it from the desk just before the break that Amy isn't exactly known for being a star jungler. There were lots of questions for LGD when they were struggling. Why don't they replace the jungler? Why don't they get new talent here? Well, Amy, after that Game 1 performance, is showing, hey, maybe he's finally found it. Maybe he's finally found that spark, that fire that he so desperately needs, that he showed us earlier this weekend in LGD's other set.
Yeah, and we could talk a little bit about Amy and why people didn't have very high regards for him. First of all, he was a bit limited in terms of champion pool, longtime Rek'Sai player. You kind of think of Clear Love when you think of Amy's champion pool. But this split, you know, he plays everything. He's got the Kindred in his back pocket as well, so he doesn't have any issues there. And I felt like the second issue with him was that he didn't have a clear goal in the game, and that has been remedied as well. The goal for LGD right now is just camp mid. Yeah. It's a very easy answer. Yeah, and I think for lower tier teams, the best way to play is just say, hey, get kills in which lane. It's a very clear goal. You play for kill lanes, and everything just runs smoothly after that.
Well, that's good that we've got that step 1. I do want to call out that strategy just a little bit.
Okay.
Because if there's one team that challenges that strategy, it's OMG. You've got Icon, they camp Icon, they get him kills, but it's where we see the team move past that, the step 2, that the strategy starts to flounder against these top-tier names. But I like it for LGD because they're still looking for that step 1. We're on A.
Yeah.
In the alphabet.
To be fair, I feel like OMG and LGD are very similar teams. I would say LGD are probably in a better position in the for the future because they have players that Y4 is, you know, he's been around, but he's still young. And then you have Yuki, who's also very young. So I think the age and the potential for them to blow up and become a good team is much higher than OMG. But at the current state, they do still have a lot of questions in how they play the 5v5. We talked about LGD and we said, you know, like, what if you asked them what their 5v5 composition is supposed to do, a lot of times you're not going to get an answer.
What?
It's like,
what do you mean supposed to do?
The game is about laning phase.
It's supposed to win the game, Clement. We destroy the enemy nexus. That's how you win the game.
Pretty much. So they're very much a win lane, win game type of team, except
一杰是一个很强的专栏选手嘛，但他最近好像状态不是特别好。但是初生牛犊不怕虎，我觉得我在接下来比赛中可以战胜他。
Oh, Yuki. Yeah, you were just saying he's a bit of a young player, and he's saying, hey, I'm inexperienced, but I think that gives me courage. I'm not sure that's supposed to be the way you look at it, but hey, if he's confident coming onto it,
If you're going up against someone that was 1 vote away from taking the MVP of Spring Split, that's the mentality you want to have. It's, I'm young, inexperienced, but that also makes me fearless. That makes me dangerous. That makes me able to make plays on you and style on your back line.
I mean, it helps when your team rotates mid, breaks down that first turret to unlock you to roam, and start affecting side lanes as well. So you don't actually have to fight the Zoe one-on-one. You just fight the rest of the team that's falling apart.
Yep, that's true.
Surgical strikes from LGD.
And that's my question for WE. I honestly expected them to stick with Mystic and I can't remember the 3-digit number. 694, sorry. 694. Yeah, they have a lot of 3-digit names. I expected them to stick with that bot lane just for the consistency of the game, and because their bot lane was actually doing fairly well in terms of CS, in terms of their damage output, in terms of their playmaking even. They were doing very well. So I really don't understand the change from WE. I get that, you know, with Gentle, maybe you can make the game less focused on the bot lane or, you know, probably play through mid and jungle, but is it really worth going away from the single thing that has made you strong and successful?
It's a question that WE have got to ask, and it looks like they might have an answer coming into this game 2. That Orianna banned away from LGD. Y4 has been playing the champion a whole lot. He is one of the best Oriannas in the league right now as a marksman of all people. So already LGD looks like they're going to have to show us something new. UDJ, he checks his notes. Do we have a page for this? We do. Okay, we're ready. Let's see what we've got. As WE, we're looking at a very early Swain rotation to start things off.
Oh, I wonder if Y4 is going to go for some of his OG marksmen, because he has dabbled a little bit with the Draven, and we've seen what Draven's early game can do to Swain. Very weak champion early on, so we typically see marksmen being picked into it.
It should be noted that Y4, when he was the substitute behind Uzi, it's not the calm, smart, intelligent Uzi that we see today. It was the 2017 Mad Dog Uzi. So maybe not the best tendencies to learn from the starting lineup. Though the mechanics you can absolutely take away from
if
that.
There's one person you want to learn from, it's Uzi. There's no doubt about that. LGD going for the same exact combo.
Yeah, Yasuo Gragas again. They are committed to. Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? But what are they going to put with that? Yeah.
Yeah. I do want to see WE.
You're saying
I think I would like to see the Kindred from WE. This is a champion that Condi does play quite a bit and has found some success. Like, I feel like he's not as in tune with the early game as he was before. So going on a champion that gives him that potential for a late game win is quite favorable for him. But instead, they're going to go for a strong jungler. Trundle could definitely bully out the Gragas in the early game.
Very early pickup. Perhaps could open up the possibility of a Kai'Sa later on. She pairs very well with that Trundle in that bottom lane, able to hit Plasma from a long range for essentially a point and click by using that pillar is a very, very powerful ability. Let's see if LGD try to respect that, because they do get one more pick after this. Perhaps Y4 thinks he might be able to outplay the matchup if that's the direction WE might be headed.
We could also see Jinu's answer to the Gnar blind pick top lane. Typically, we do see the maybe Jace or Kennen being the correct answers here. But those picks are pretty dicey. They do lock you into certain compositions. They're more lane-focused champions in general.
I mean, you've got a Gragas Yasuo, and if you add a Kennen into that mix with the slicing Maelstrom, you just go right back to the Wombo combo.
And it's great.
Exactly.
I love the Tom Kench Kennen, which we've seen from EDG. You just walk forward with the Kennen in your stomach.
Kennen ults, and then Tom Kench picks him up and carries him in. That would be funny. We do have the Ashe banned away, though, from Y4, so there is a bit of flexibility as to what LGD could pick with this next setup. Again, we know that Gnar is going top for 957, so Jinu gets the chance to try and counter that matchup. Vladimir going to be banned away from Team WE. We've seen Xie take that champion to pretty big success.
Yep, definitely have seen. And we also have to remind everyone that Swain is a flex for Xie as well. He could put him into the mid lane and try to contest with a strong 2v2 of their own. Otherwise, they could still pick the Kindred and then send the Trundle and the Swain into the bot lane, which we've seen before as well, TOP doing that. And of course, they take away the Draven.
Yep. Gotta be a Draven.
You can't let the Draven mains get the Draven. If they take it up and go into a Swain matchup, it's a 10-point armor difference at level 1.
Yeah.
Not a fun thing to deal with.
It's real big, especially once you get the spinning axes for that much more bonus physical damage. You can see Jinu's actually speaking rather furiously. They might be looking at Jinu's pick here. Save that flexibility for later.
Oh,
Queen!
Here it is!
Locked in.
I love this pick. This is the secret sauce that Jinu has been playing in solo queue for so long. It's his second most played on his account. And he's been practicing on it very hard. He has some great stats on it.
Ooh, that blinding strike, that Harrier to chase people down. We've got a Galio and Morgana still in the cards for Team WE. So lots of global pressure with that Galio for Xie, massive champion for him. We're also seeing that Morgana likely going down to Gentle, or perhaps as support, missing in that bottom lane.
Yep, we'll go into the bot lane.
But
they just want to get their protection.
Y4 to look for that counter matchup as we see that Swain is likely going bottom. PYL now gets to pick a carry for Y4.
He could go really safe and just take the Ezreal. It's always an option.
Timer is running out. You can see he was just speaking to the referee behind him.
They banned all my champions. What do I do? Is that allowed?
Yeah, but the Quinn lock-in
I
for
love this
LGD. So presumably he had the champion that he wanted. He was communicating it to the ref that he did not have it on that account.
Oh, okay.
And would need to go and purchase the champion real quick.
So it's gotta be some good cheese.
I mean, it's PYL. Do you think PYL is the kind of guy who buys champions? Well, yeah, you've got to, don't you?
Yeah.
You've got to swap around.
This is very interesting.
Oh, yeah. Could be. What is... Okay.
Maybe PYL only bought Jinu's champions.
Stretch our minds. Jin in the bottom lane into the Morgana Swain. Not doing it for you?
Yeah, I'm not super high on that. Trundle and Gnar are kind of tanky champions.
Very big.
If you're going up
painful.
against two tanky champions, I don't think that's the correct answer you want. I think you want something that provides you with safety. So when the Wombo combo goes in, you can kind of have an observer position and just stand besides it. That would be my idea for the comp.
Maybe a Karthus, perhaps?
Go all in. Oh, well.
You've got the Wombo, just flash in.
Yeah, you can do the Karthus thing, the same thing with the Kennen as well. Just make it Tahm Kench into a tank carrier, basically. Personnel carrier. Run him straight in. But I want to talk about a little bit about the Quinn pick. It's quite a special one. You do see the Electrocute being brought on Jinu's Quinn, and he does go for the celerity, which is what makes this thing work, basically. You get super high movement speed from in the skies, I believe. I can't really remember the name. We haven't seen Quinn for a while. It's
been a while,
basically.
yeah.
And you get extra AD. And when you come out of that burst damage is truly shocking because it's the celerity burst, and then you get the Electrocute as well. It's a huge chunk of damage.
Oh yeah, especially once you get the Harrier procs on top of that for even more accelerated damage. Just try and blow people up as quickly as possible. I'm curious which build he decides to go for, because I remember back in the day the build used to be the Duskblade of Drakthar on Quinn, just for the increased damage racing in on the champion.
Yep, it's definitely lethality.
Yeah.
So I'm just checking into Jinu's account. He's actually very highly ranked, 700 points here. The build he does typically go for is the lethality build with the Youmuu's Ghostblade. And he actually does differ his build a little bit, goes for Phase Rush sometimes as well. Actually, he's playing mainly Phase Rush nowadays. Just wants to get even more movement speed.
And of course, running those people down, very helpful, especially on the Quinn. Well, into that Gnar matchup too, because if you ever decide to get offensive and the Gnar tries to leap away, that's absolutely something that's really important.
Yep.
Especially if you can try to bounce off of him as he's leaping him in air, because again, that has a slight displacement. One displacement overrides another.
Oh.
So it is possible to reset that. Okay, we're getting back into this. But should be the same all the way up until PYL's final pick for the team. So again, we just get the chance to see these bans once again in the exact same order. That Ashe. And
yeah, they don't want the pick combination of Ashe and Tahm Kench to come out. Of course, RNG being the first ones to use that combo, very successful in it.
The Draven ban away, as is expected. The Quinn now for Jinu. And here we've got ourselves that Galio Morgana.
So what will be the bot lane?
This is it. We've been hypothesizing.
Y4?
Yeah. Kai'Sa. Oh, Victor. That would be interesting. Well, I guess that explains why he doesn't have it. Victor locked in for PYL.
It's gonna go to Y4 in the end, but I've just never seen a Victor bot
I mean,
lane.
it's okay. So Y4, he's a very good Orianna player. Maybe the way he got good at Orianna was just playing mages in the mid lane. And
that's true.
Victor is another long-range, wave-clear-based mage who has a good AoE ultimate, so it kind of follows progressively. Also, it should be noted, the Quinn E, the knockback, does provide a knock-up for Yasuo, the vault.
Another good combination coming in there. I believe the gravity field should do it as well. with if it is evolved enough, we'll give another proc to Yasuo. So this is a Yuki-focused composition, but everyone has a chance to chip in. But on the other hand, we see Team WE going with a more bruiser-focused comp. It's an all-in composition, but they do have a lot of protection with the Morgana and the Hero's Entrance.
With that protection, they should hopefully be able to dissuade LGD if they try to go for those aggressive wombo combo setups. But again, it's all about this setup around Yuki once again for Team LGD. They're putting all their eggs in the Yuki basket. Amy wants back on that Gragas, the exact same 2v2. We just have to hope that this isn't a flash in the pan for LGD. Their game 1 performance was good. They were able to cleanly out-macro Team WE. Still can't believe I'm saying that.
Yeah.
And they picked themselves a very similar composition in game 2 to try and dissect the exact same strategy.
I just want to see what the Quinn does here. Like, I've been waiting for this pick for so long. Rusty was the one that, you know, started mentioning it when I think the celerity buffs came through. And if you think about it, phase rush, it's 45% movement speed. The behind enemy lines is 130% extra movement speed, and that is transferred to celerity. 9.6% of that is transferred to bonus 80.
Yeah.
So massive amounts of damage coming in with the first initial burst.
Quick burst. The question is, who is the target? Will they be trying to bully Gnar in that top lane, or will they try to focus down Chie perhaps in the mid, or just unlock Jinnu so that he can go elsewhere? There are choices galore for LGD, but now it's time to hear from the crowd in Hangzhou as LGD take on Team WE. The LGD fans louder this time around. Perhaps finally getting a chance to rally behind that home team as we see WE stepping up to clear a very early ward from LGD. Again, it's a defensive lineup from both sides. Jinnu once again starting back in base.
Did take a little bit of damage coming in from 957, so just wanted to top off. Typically, Gnar does have a lot of trouble with ranged champions early on. Gnar doesn't get his range until he gets levels, so it actually increases with the amount of leveling you do. Your passive does give you an extra range, but you do start at something like 300, so it's very hard to win trades against a marksman like Quinn.
And Jinnu should be having a lot of fun up here with those blinding attacks. Amy looks like he's trying to start off with a scuttle start, but already Condi is set to contest this. He started red and is trekking across the map. He's got his pillar, and Amy, who is trying to loop around. He's looking for Condi. There he goes. Pops it up. That's the pillar. 957 collapses first. Jinnu's getting down there. An early body slam, but there is no pillar to get there. And that means Jinnu is going to start getting some auto attacks back as Amy just uses one ability to escape. Jinnu actually gets level 2. Ooh, lands a lot of damage. Oh boy, that's a lot of hurt.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, so you dissuade the jungle, then Amy comes over and brings his new best bud, Yuki. Condi's actually forced to walk through the lane, and that's a flash. Jinnu follows. He's able to chase and get even more damage out of this. LGD. Okay, WE, you got the scuttle, but was that worth it?
Just LGD are so persistent in their strategy. They were all in level 2, make sure that Jinnu gets the best lane possible, and they even bring Yuki in for the fun just to force everyone away from this quadrant of the map. This means that 957 is going to get no help, and we just saw the amount of damage that Jinnu was able to deal to him.
Already this trade is looking really dangerous for WE on that top side. Amy stealing away the blue, taking away the Gromp. Condi's trying to make it worth as he heads over towards his own blue. Oh, that binding actually hits. Wow.
Yeah, it does a lot of damage as well. This is the traditional weakness of Gnar. If you push him in level 3, he's actually very diveable.
Amy, he's thinking about it. There's pings onto it. Jinnu is speaking with 957. They do have flash ready. Boomerang is now used. Jinnu taking some damage there.
He's just trying to deny.
957 steps up into the minion wave. It's already getting low. Blinding strike hits. I'm not sure if he spotted Amy, but he sees him now. Leaps over. Amy immediately follows, and that's a flash burn from 957.
But look at the amount of experience that he's missing out on. Sure, Amy is too, but no, as a jungler, you can kind of afford that. The map is larger. You can try to avoid the enemy jungler, not so much for the laner. So 957 is going to have a very hard time, already down 10 CS and being denied an entire wave there.
That's not going to feel good for 957. Y4 though, he's still holding his own down in the bottom lane. You can see what he's running with this Aerie down here. And of course the Scorch for more damage with the laser.
Yep. Victor did get a small buff in recent patches. Is a bit stronger melee. As I believe his shielding strength was buffed onto his Q. So he can take a bit more punishment in lane.
Gentle, you can see he's actually doing so much with this never move and constantly using the Ravenous Flock to pull those soul shards out of Y4 and PYL and constantly harass. Here you can see Jinnu, like we said, getting that phase rush, Celerity and Scorch as well. Amy's coming back for a return visit. That's the slow with a quick vault. Amy decides not to go for the flash body slam as Jinnu backed up for the wave.
I love this gank coming out from Amy. It's not really a gank. You know, some people call it a prank, but basically the idea is you freeze the wave there, and you force the enemy jungle to go top. They actually don't have an option other than sending Trundle towards the top lane and trying to get this wave to at least equalize or reset.
And that is teleport just now used by 957. He picks up a control ward as he heads back into that lane. Amy's still over here, and Condi's only just now making his way out of base. He did complete a recall, so he's got himself that challenging smite and a longsword, but there is a window. But it looks like Amy decides not to go for it, recalls instead. In the bottom lane, Gentle is landing so much CC with missing right here.
Yeah, and you can see the mobility lack from Y4 right there, really hurting his laning phase. The range from WE, the constant harass, and not to mention the sustain that Swain gets from picking on immobilized targets is really putting quite a toll on LGD.
Let's see if LGD's bottom lane can maintain down there. Eventually they will be able to, once they manage to get some items on that Victor. He's got himself teleport to complete a recall.
I think he probably would have died right there. That was really close.
Saved by PYL.
The AP ratio on Empire's Vision is very high.
Ooh, Amy over the wall, manages to find Xie. That's a good shield of Durand and the knockup, but Yuki follows. Instead, Condi steps up with a good pillar to separate Yuki and Amy.
Yep, not really enough damage done to either sides. But the flash trade was in advantage to LGD. Yuki is going to be able to make better plays elsewhere on the map.
And eventually should be able to unlock there. If they manage to find those kills. Still just constant pressure down in this lane as the wave is pushing in back and forth. Out of Gentle and missing. Amy on this red buff. Just trying to get closer and closer to that level 6. Condi is outpacing him a little bit because Amy did spend so much time looking for that pressure top to set up Jinnu's Quinn, who is now level 6. So rated Dirk and Boots 8 CS ahead, whereas it's only a Doran's Blade for 957, along with that Doran shield. But again, so much damage out of Gentle.
Yeah, that damage combo is absolutely frightening. You see Jinnu on the prowl right here. For me, LGD's composition does need to win early. They have a lot of fragile members on their team. They probably will not survive a Gnar Galio combo. So they want to make sure they have their lanes far enough ahead where they have the lane priority in the mid game and are able to split up the composition from WE. I think that's how they find their Yasuo picks. That's how they use the mobility from Quinn to really win on the mid game. But they do need to start from the laning phase, and I think W has been doing a very good job in holding the early game.
Keeping LGD in place, as it were, so that you don't have to worry about that roaming potential. Good Siphon power, Siphon strike out of Y4 and the laser. Doesn't get the second hit, as that was just the one upgrade. Amy is down here. Let's see if he decides to take a blast cone over the wall and join in on the fray, because there is a Yasuo over there. Demonic Ascension, PYL. He's acting again, but I'm not sure if it's such a great idea. They land the snare. Gentle walks it off. Amy, he's got the cask, but no flash, and Gentle just walks away. There we go. That's the cask. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Jinnu is getting ganked. He flashes, but gets caught by Condi and makes it over the pillar to safety. All right, Xie, he doesn't have flash. Jinnu just walks it off. And walks away.
That was such good mechanics from Jinnu. He actually vaults over the pillar and gets away for free. He did have to use his flash, I believe, but yeah, that was still a very cool way to do it.
Walks away for free comparatively to dying, I think. We consider that free. And pulling that attention, that does mean that Yuki gets the chance to free away some of these Raptor camps from Condi, liberate them from his jungle. But look at this. Condi's still sitting up here, and Jinu's so safe. That pillar is still there. Jinu's doing a lot of damage, by the way, and he's still holding on to that vault. There he goes in. 1, 2, 3. And Condi's forced to use Subjugate in order to escape. 957 is about to take Mega. He's got Flash. Amy's up here as well to try to look for a counter gank. Sweeper.
I think the burst damage from Jinu would take Condi down, so we could see 957 trying to play protect duty for Condi to move out of that position.
Condi will head into the river to take Scuttle Crab off the back of this, but Amy is ready to contest it. He knows that that Trundle was very low health, and look who's even coming to join him. Yuki from the mid lane. This is the communication that we've been asking about for LGD for so long. Amy, PYL, these guys have been on the team for ages, and now we're finally starting to see them move together. I don't know if it's Yuki or if it's Jinu or Amy finally speaking up, but something is clicking for this team. And they're able to maneuver around the map, yeah.
Yeah, it's so fluid what they're doing right now. Look, Yuki's never far behind after Amy's trying to make a proactive move on the map. And you can see the pressure that it's having on WE. They're forced to play very far back into their own lanes. There's vision being set up in their own jungle as well. And you know, we talk about how LGD, they probably don't want to play a super late game with WE. On the flip side, WE haven't really found any access to attack. There's no avenues. They're not really getting that much chip damage down. And a Y4, if he evolves his E, should have no problem clearing the way.
Yeah, disabling that even more. See, I believe he already has. He's got 2 for blue on those upgrades, so it should be the Siphon Strike and the Death Ray. As you just mentioned, you can see it proccing that second hit. Condi's racing around. Jinu might be thinking of a counter gank on this Quinn. Just so quick on the celerity.
It's 511 move speed.
541. Whew. As he is racing around. And if they're able to control those Scuttle Crabs as well, I believe that's a 4.
Imagine that Quinn flying in with the Ghost Blade and then with celerity.
Oh yeah, that's a lot.
And then he finishes you off with Phase Rush. Like, how do you even get away with that? So if this Jinu is ahead by any extent, then he can just fly all over the map. If he's allowed to leave lane constantly, he's such a massive threat.
And that is something that WE have got to be scared of. So far, they've been doing a good job of trying to keep pace with him on the top lane. 957, despite the pressure he received early on, is now going even in CS with Jinu, only about a single minion wave behind. And we're seeing Condi maneuver around the map with Missing and Gentle to hunt out, scout out some vision around this Mountain Dragon.
Look at the CC gank squad.
Yeah.
Like, how long would you be frozen?
I mean, that's the perfect strategy against LGD. Somebody is going to be around here making a mistake, but they're not.
They're actually sitting very contently in their own lane, which is something we don't really expect from LGD. They typically have mishaps around the mid game, but they're content to sit here. I just wanted to, again, touch on the CC duration that combo has. You're talking about Trundle Pillar, the pullback. Oh,
Demonic Ascension used very early. PYL just picks up Y4 and walks him off. That's the Chaos Storm. As Gentle, he's still sitting on 4 stacks of those Soul Shards for the Demon Flare damage. Even Condi is here as well. He does have Subjugate, but decides not to go for it over the wall. Meanwhile, Yuki has pulled Amy over here, and Yuki does have his flash. Good pillar from Condi.
Very careful.
Yeah. Still just stalling around this game.
Yep, and it's going to come down to that one big Drake fight, I feel, for the early game at least. You know, Jinu has been constantly roaming, but all of the lanes from both sides have been playing very passively. They know that the extra mobility that's going to happen will punish over-aggressive moves.
We're just waiting for this game to break open. It's 13 minutes. It's so calm and so slow. Jinu is just controlling the top half of the map on this Quinn, as he should be with that incredible mobility. Meanwhile, Dragon has been started by LGD, as I believe they saw the recall of Missing down in that bottom lane. So, with the emote, PYL with a smile. And that really bodes well that Y4 is coming in with PYL, and they're emoting at each other. They're making smiles, and they're dropping penguins and Tom Kenches.
I think a big part about PYL's play is that sometimes he just leaves his bot laner
Yeah.
to the win. It's like, whatever, I don't care. I need to roam. And then he dies on the roam and the bot lane is lost as well.
I need to roam. The road is calling to me.
Exactly.
I have to walk away.
he plays very much like Road at times.
Yeah.
But, you know, seeing
the player Road as well, yeah.
Yeah, seeing like the synergy between him and a bot laner is actually quite surprising. Like, they had a lot of good saves in the bot lane, and here might be our first play.
Ooh, that's the Abyssal Voyage. Remember, Vault gets Yuki right in there, but immediately 957 flashes out, and Jinnu decides to flash, doesn't get in range of his own Vault. So 957, recognizing the danger of the situation, just leaves as quickly as he can instead of risking it by trying to turn.
Ooh, but this leaves LGD in a very bad position. They have to try to equalize, or they're just going to lose that bot lane tower for free.
Y4 still down there with that Death Ray. Hopefully he'll be close enough to clear it. Already you can see Missing has left that lane, but with Kandi defending and Xie sitting just outside of vision, they can try for something here. Xie is thinking about it, but there's the cask on top of the blast cone. Do they clear it now or later? They clear it now, and they all move together. Xie is the target. They burn through his health so quickly, and he goes down. First blood to Amy. Now they're forcing 957 out of this as Jinnu has joined the fight, but still they've already found one. Kandi could be looking for another as PYL decides to face that binding. Stands his ground. Be a man.
Yep, and does cleanse out of it, I believe. Interestingly enough.
And another binding from Missing. Just to get
does
some
have
more.
the unsealed spell book. That's a very good use of that item. Yeah. Quick turnaround to get out of the 60 situation.
But LGD, you said they needed to get something. Does that kill count?
Yeah, it does count. Like, all kills are good at this point. I was actually a little bit surprised. The execution was not exactly spot on. Yuki, I feel like, waited a while to use the last breath. This position with the last breath is actually pretty dangerous. If Xie did manage to get over the wall, he could have escaped that.
Yuki did get another kill in the meanwhile. That puts him at 1-0-1. You'll notice Missing is dead. We just saw that in the picture-in-picture, I believe. Amy managed to land a slow and good damage on the Missing, and then Yuki just flashed over the wall for a big crit hit. Of course, Phantom Dancer, Yasuo very good at that. Again, our match of the week starts at 7 today. Win, rain, or shine, we will be taking that live, even if that means jumping out of a Game 3 of this series.
Well, you know who to root for then.
Yeah, if you want to try to get into that.
Yeah, if you want to quickly finish the series and move on to the match of the week, it's going to be an exciting one, RNG versus Rogue Warriors.
That should be quite an exciting match later on. But still, this game is looking to be pretty exciting as well. We're 800 gold ahead. Yuki is 1-0-1. Amy's got himself a kill. You've got another assist onto PYL. All the eggs are in that Yuki basket, but suddenly you've got the backup of another marksman on Jinnu, who can absolutely decimate a squishy in the back line if he ever finds an opportunity to flank.
And look at how LGD has...
Whoa, RNG playing SKT, Zatai zoning them away. That's a classic there.
All right, I was confused there for a little bit.
That game so much.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Are we already in match of the week? SKT is playing in the LPL?
How did they get here?
Were they demoted from the LCK? Wow. But
I think you mean promoted into the LPL.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, man. Love me that flashback. RNG versus SKT. Great game.
That would make casting so easy because they actually have captions right there. Did you see that? It's like
just
Faker's at half health.
Yeah. Oh man, could you imagine if casting actually had subtitles like
our casting
it was a karaoke or something? Yeah.
Yeah. So we read the script every day, and
we've got to make sure it's memorized.
Yeah, there's a prompter right there. You don't see it.
This banter is not natural. It's actually planned. Our writing team is really. I mean, look, they exist, okay? Okay, anyways. Rift Herald now being started out by LGD on the other side of the map. You can see WE are trying to invest in this bottom lane to break down the turret. This would be first brick. Y4 gets in, uses the Chaos Storm.
Oh, and
but that
he's
is
so
a cannon
calm
minion.
And collected.
Binding misses, and the turret is held. Amy's set to finish off that Rift Herald while Yuki and Jinnu keep it down, and look at that damage. Y4, come on, man.
Oh, the Kane spam. Oh, he's going for it.
Here's the next wave, and look at that wave clear. Look at that wave clear.
There's just nothing you can do against him. Like, he diffused that 4v2 scenario so well, and they were able to get a free Herald.
Look at this. They're once again using that Herald in the mid lane. Teleport from Xie to try to get in there, but Yuki already clears out the minion wave. This charge could give over first brick, and it does again. Yuki is unlocked from the mid lane.
Yeah, and the Herald is going to get a second charge. 1,500 damage right there.
Did Xie just get animation canceled out of the auto because Shelly charged too quickly?
I think so. I'm actually kind of surprised Conti didn't try to help him take the scuttle, man. Okay.
Yeah, well, hey.
Red is important. Red is important.
It is it's a colorful buff, to say the very least.
Huh?
That's another move into the Visions of Empire, missing on the laser. Come on, guys. It hasn't been that long since we've seen a Victor, all right?
Okay, to be honest, we've only seen one Victor this split, and it has been cool in the mid lane.
Yeah.
So no bot lane Victors so far. This is the first time we're seeing it. But I think I can see the reasoning behind it against the Swain.
Yeah.
Because if you're going melee, you got a shield against him. You can block out his Q, and you have the mobility to really dodge out with the Power Siphon on his Never Move and the Dark Binding that we just saw him when he traded in on Missing. So the more I think about it, it actually makes sense. Y4 is the god. Like, he started Orianna in the bot lane, and now he's going with Victor as well. Like,
he's good on both of them so far.
Can you imagine a team with Doinby and Y4?
Oh.
And Gimgoon in the top lane?
Okay, now we're just going a little too far.
Here comes the
Infernal
wombo.
Dragon is the fight. Amy goes in and steals it away. 2 buffs now. Yuki is in the middle of things. Jinu looking for his opportunity. Shie steps forward. That's Amy going golden. Y4 on the side. Drops himself to Chaos Storm. Gets pulled back in as Gentle is doing work. And it looks like this fight isn't quite working out for LGD. PYL gets 1, but they lose 2 in the process. And LGD are forced to retreat.
Yeah, better perfect timing's coming out from WE. They dodge out on most of the AoE coming in from Y4 and Yuki right there. And when they come in with their own, LGD did not have an answer. Now, I have to say, LGD's composition is more focused on getting picks. They go in really fast, really hard. They have the mobility to coalesce on any point of the map, but they need to find that first move, or the tankiness and the sustained damage from W will win through.
And here's that fight again. Exactly what you talk about. You manage to see Gentle get in, and that's the Swain damage.
It's a really good, perfect timing coming in from Missing. Does lock down Y4 as well. And you can see the tanky front line from the Swain and 957 really pushing LGD away from the pit and isolating Yuki in the fight. It's very difficult for LGD to all in onto the back line when the front line is there. The front line can just push forward, and I don't think that LGD really has the damage to kill Swain instantly.
Especially not yet, at the very least, though we could be getting there as Jinu looking for that Black Cleaver to further shred through Gentle's health, though he's well on his way to finishing off Azanya's second to try and deny that.
And LGD with another smart macro play. They're going to put Quinn into the mid lane. Better mobility, can get to the bot lane easier, and they're giving Yasuo the favorable matchup against Anar. This is what we've seen in both games so far, is that the Yasuo just counters 957's champion pool so hard.
Blue buff now being picked up by Shie as, oh, that's Windwall. Sorry, the Steel Tempest. Hey, poor Yuki over the wall.
Okay.
Stylish. In and out, and lands the knockup, denying 957's chase as he just chucks a boulder back at the minion wave. It's safe play out of LGD as Jinu just takes to the skies once again to roam around the map. Looks like he's swapping down towards that bottom lane. It's up to Quinn to keep that tier 1 safe while Y4 and PYL are getting ready because, again, Baron is up at this point. Though it feels like it's still in the mid-game, we're about 22 minutes in. Getting that Quinn to split push in a lane is a lot stronger and a lot faster than 957. Look how long it's taking him to get down to that tier 1.
Yeah. He has to walk there, and remember the movement speed bonus on the behind enemy lines, I believe is 100% at level 11, which he should have now. It goes up to 130% in total. So he could consistently do this.
Just keep maneuvering around.
Yeah.
Push and pull WE around the map. Goodness help them that it's not a Cloud Dragon that WE have to worry. Could you imagine triple Cloud plus a Quinn?
Oh, trust me, the Infernal is still more dangerous.
Yeah, you're exactly right. But still, just constantly moving backwards and forwards, ducking in and out of vision. It's so important for WE to keep vision around the map because it's almost like this Quinn fills a pseudo-Evelyn role, but WE, they've got 3 members looking top lane. Yuki steps up to clear out the wave. Ooh, don't you do it.
Round trip did nothing,
Don't you do it.
Don't face check, don't face check.
Control ward. Oh, that's the pillar. He's into 3. That's the wind wall. Gets himself that Sterix proc. Still in and finally dies.
Yeah, there is no way you get out of that. That's such a good gank squad combo. Again, you're talking about the pillar, pull back, never move, into binding. That's easily over 5 seconds.
It's a lot of CC that Yasuo can't get out of, but he doesn't even burn his cleanse, doesn't burn his flash, doesn't try to risk wasting any more than he absolutely has to. because he knows how important he is to his team. But WE, now they're the ones taking the incentive in this game. They're pushing up this top tier 1 to try and trade with Jinu down bottom. Amy's doing a good job to keep 957 from defending, so the turrets are traded. It's still 3-1, but WE, they're getting some gold now.
Yeah, and I really wonder if Jinu can continue to play the split pushing role well enough, because W's composition, if they just sit 5-man in the Baron, they can actually start it. They have enough sustain, and they have double Zanyas as well to dodge out on the Wombo combo from LGD. So I think it's a position if WE, like maybe 5 more minutes in the game when it's 30 minutes, they could just all sit on Baron and just have LGD try to challenge them at that point. And the only answer I could see LGD really having is if they have the successful 4-1 split push, if they can split WE up and make sure they have a numbers advantage around the Baron pit.
And that's where we see that Quinn and Yasuo come into play, choosing who that one member is going to be for LGD. And in this way, we start to look for a little bit more creativity out of LGD as they're just clearing out, playing the exact same style that they did in game number 1, playing it nice and slow here in game number 2 to try and pull WE apart. But even so, at 1-7, we are still seeing a WE that knows how to adapt, that knows how to change on the fly. They see that LGD are going for a tanky Wombo combo composition, so they pick up themselves some tanky champions who might be able to survive a Wombo combo, even if they do get caught out.
Lots of damage going on to Y4 there. Just like you said, even though W is 1-7, I've always had the opinion that they're actually a much better team than people realize. If you look at their early game stats, they're still very good, and the reason why they lose a lot of their series is crucial team fight mishaps in the mid to late game. Just like one single mistake for someone. A lot of times it has been the Camille from Condi, lost like I believe 2 games on that, just going in over Zelius.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's it's the bot lane, sometimes it's the mid lane. It happens, but they've been very unfortunate in that sense that a lot of their games are actually a lot closer than you think. It just comes down to that one crucial execution.
Well, I hate to break it to you, Clement, but it's the mid game, and WE seem to have a team fight comp. Amy goes in for the barrel. That's the Black Shield onto Condi. Jinu looking to get in, but she is zoning him out from the side. That's the assassination, but no. Zanya's from Gentle underneath the Chaos Storm. He's still alive. Never move. Lands onto Amy. Y4 chases and gets the kill. Plus, he manages to kill the support as well. PYL
takes him out,
saves him and spits him out the back as LGD reset the fight front to back. Jinu manages to pin 957 back, but not able to get the kill in the end. And the Abyssal Voyage to get them away from the turret and allow even more chase. Yuki with the 2-man knockup, pinned and stunned against the wall, gives up his life for the kill. But I cannot believe it. They had the team fight as you predicted, and LGD are the ones who come up trumps.
Yeah, it was such a good explosive cast from Amy. It took Gentle completely out of position, and he was focused down very early on. Didn't even get his Demon Flare at the end, I believe. And after that, you could see Jinu collapsing on everyone to the ramp. Small nitpicking, but PYL probably did not need to celebratory perfect timing. Could have got the Abyssal Voyage a little bit earlier, but other than that, I think LGD played that fight beautifully.
Yeah, and now that gets them a Mountain Dragon off the back of that fight. Here it all starts off with Amy flashing in.
Yeah, the big point here is watch the positioning from Gentle. He's in such a bad spot. He's being pincered down by 2 members. Has to use his flash and Zanyas at the start of the fight. That means only 957 does have the big damages. And he just gets flashed over by Y4. Y4 goes in, no mercy, and picks off the back line, while PYL is there to taxi him out of it and even goes gold. It's a true gangster move right there.
Perhaps predicting the slam from 957. He sees the Meganar, knows 957 has flash. We know that keeping track of those summoner timers usually is the support's job in these pro teams.
And look at the bot lane. Jinu's looking for that pick onto Gnar. Doesn't find it.
Yeah, just getting that minion wave instead. Look at the damage. 4,000 damage on that Quinn as Amy. Ooh, that's not a good place to be. Able to escape with his life, though.
Yeah.
That's 4 members of WE.
Gentle didn't get the range for the pullback, so wasn't able to change the entire CC. That's a very deadly CC chain on Amy if it did land.
Does not, and luckily Amy is able to escape with his life, but only just. Even though he does have that Gargoyle Stone Plate, you don't want to burn it on a pick. You want to try to get it in a team fight. But WE, they've set up a lot of vision around this Baron, and LGD are just going to step in and start clearing it out.
The way Jinu is playing this is quite hilarious.
Push a wave and then roam?
Yeah, he pushes one wave, and then he flies all the way over to Baron Pit.
Yeah.
Just to make sure W never can never set up.
He gets back to the minion wave in time to push it back, but now he shows himself bottom. WE, they've sent 5 members to that Baron to contest this vision. Now that means Jinnu is free to push all the way down in that bottom lane. And he's got the mobility. He's level 16 now. He can go back and forth between that mid and bottom.
And he's trying to cut Gnar off. Will he find him? Huh? Just going for the red instead.
Yeah, there's a ping onto him as he is spotted out. Visions of Empire, and 957 will get it. Yeah. A nice gift to the top laner of WE, but again, nothing's going to stop Jinnu. He's just going to keep on moving back and forth. The next dragon will be Infernal, so having control over that river is very important for LGD as they have double Mountain and Infernal so far. So they do a lot of damage, and if they ever get an opportunity to win another team fight in front of the Baron, that very well could be a dead Baron.
So one case where you don't like Tiamat doesn't do favors for you.
In front of the Baron pit, yep.
Connie going all the way down to half health. Just like you said, I think the next Infernal Drake is going to be the big one, but I actually think it goes to LGD. What they should do is just try to bait with 4-man around Baron and have Jinnu do it himself. That's how I would do it.
That's a deep ward. Just outside of the vision. Teleport is ready for Jinnu, but hey, why bother to teleport when you could literally fly there? Possibly even faster than teleporting.
Yeah, I wonder if that's the case. If he pops the Ghost Blade,
what the trade-off is, yeah. I mean, he's got Scuttle Crab now in that bottom river too, so that's another movement speed boost to race across the map. So much fun playing that champion as that's actually teleport into the mid lane out of Gentle. They're going to try and break down this mid-tier 1 as WE stack up as 5, but Jinnu's already there! He was just bottom, and now he's here!
There's no way they can siege this. Like, the wave clear from Vladimir is just... Not Vladimir, sorry, Victor. They all have a name starting with V's and like get confused sometimes. But yet the Victor is just holding down the mid lane so well and allowing LGD to go into a 4-1 type of composition. Just dragging the game out. However, they still need to think about how they want to finish the game.
Yeah.
They're not a very good late game. Well, not exactly bad,
in
but
the strict sense.
Yeah, it's very hard for them to actually finish off backline targets when it goes towards the late game. Because you're talking about GAs, you're talking about very thick black shields, and a front line that will actually push you away from that as well. So it's going to be harder for them to find wombo combo kills.
Yeah. I mean, we're now getting to that 31.5 minute mark. You just saw the gold distribution between everyone. The biggest advantage is for Jinnu. He's about 1,800 gold ahead of 957 right now, which is not as much as you want to be at if you're the Quinn. You kind of want to snowball that a little bit further ahead, especially considering it's Frozen Mallet Black Cleaver for 957, whereas you've got the Storm Razors now finished off for Jinnu. So a little bit more
Connie in a bad position.
Pops. Yeah, oh, that's even the Frozen Pillar used. He's actually trying to turn this around. Cask is ready. Does Yuki decide to invest onto this? PYL gets the Abyssal Voyage. Jinnu has got into the back line, but his team isn't there. They reset onto the far side, and Jinnu is able to walk this out. LGD, are they going to look for Connie, or do they turn onto Jinnu? He's kiting it out as best he can. Already used the vault. Hero's entrance, but he resets and flashes to the far side. WE are now the ones chasing LGD back, but Yuki is in the back line. He's got out, and with that GA popped, he's so far from his team. LGD have got to let him go. Massive mistake by LGD to get themselves split up in this tense situation.
Ooh, the question here is WE going to look at Baron? Not even. They're just going to head straight for the Infernal Drake right there. I feel like LGD, their coordination was quite off on Jinnu's side. They actually could have went for the GA pop on Condi, I believe. Just go for the kill on Condi and then back out. They had enough time. Like, Jinnu was kind of like trying to race for them, but then the top side didn't go for the kill, and the rest of WE members just caught up.
But I think that shows the patience of LGD. This isn't a team that's risking it in these chaotic fights anymore. As Jinnu gets caught by the Soul Shackles, remember, he doesn't have Flash right now. Caught by the stun, pulled by the Never Move, cleanse too late, and he dies blindly face-checking into the enemy jungle.
Yeah, and unfortunately that was pretty poorly executed. He popped the Ghost Blade late and still tried to take minions as well, so...
I think he might have known that he was dead at that point, but now it's... What is he giving up? Because like you said, the Infernal Dragon is taken, that tier 1 is also being taken by WE. They finally managed to get some kill gold onto 957 again at 3-1-1. And...
we're seeing some classic LGD gaming.
Yep, the classic. Now we know why the teleport is there. It's a control word onto the pit. Dragon was just taken. Recall completed. There's no teleport for Gentle as they're sweeping out all of this vision. Yuki is here. LGD, do they try to bait this out, knowing that Jinu has teleport in just a few seconds?
I don't think LGD win this. Oh, they're starting straight for the Baron, but it gets spotted out immediately.
Remember, they have double mountain right now. Jinu is racing out. He's not even using his teleport. He is soaring out of that base. It's already down to half health. Kandi is there. Xie with the flash taunt. He manages to find PYL, but picks up Y4, who gets out of the back. Jinu is in the back. He's found missing. Look at the damage that he's doing. Zanius. Jinu's about to be stunned again, but he's able to walk it off this time, but has to walk through WE and ends up dying as LGD's front line crumbled.
Yeah, he only needed to distract WE. I don't think Jinu needed to full commit right there. And again, we're seeing 3 picks go over to WE. And in all 3 of those team fights, I think the important thing is Yuki never got a last breath off. It was just never a chance for him to play a wombo combo. Against a 5v5, this is just not a very good team composition. You need ways to split WE up.
And without that, Quinn to do just that, it becomes really difficult. The tier 1 goes down. That tier 2 crumbles with the secondary push. WE, they've got their eyes on the prize. Not going to try risking it with a Baron fight or even a steal. Just taking the objectives that they know they can.
WE are playing this very slow and steady. They're just waiting for that critical point where they have enough items, where they're built up enough that they can brute force LGD. All they need to do is walk into the Baron pit and claim it as their own. But LGD, they're constantly pulling.
They're doing the exact same play. This time it's a teleport coming in from Jinu, not the racing out of the base, not the Harrier. And look at how quickly he's going. He's trying to deny this Baron. Kandi gets in, but Baron picked up. Jinu trying to stall this time successfully. I'm not sure this is a fight that they want to take, but they're still chasing WE back, as that was 957 using the slam. The body slam goes forward. Kandi is dead as Xie is forced to back out.
The combo goes in once more, and they finally find someone with the last breath, take out Kandi, and LGD with the double Mountain Drakes. It's just surprising even to me as well. They just keep on going for it.
Play 3 times in a row, failed it twice, then did it a 3rd time, and it was successful.
LGD macro, boys. You lose picks, and then you reset on the map faster.
Exactly.
It's genius.
Yeah, brilliant. They managed to trade back their middle tier 2 turret. Here you can see the back of that fight. Jinu is so fast.
Oh, wow. This is actual speed. It isn't even sped up. And they managed to get the Baron and then follow up on the play. I believe it was a flash E here. Yep. Do get Kandi.
To find Kandi out of the back of the fight, killing that jungler, but already WE, they're trying to reset their minion waves. There's a big wave building bottom. 957 is already down there to try and answer it, but LGD are racing down. Jinu might be predicting this. Look at how quick he is on the map as he's now finished that Maw of Malmortius.
Such a funny play. So what happened was Jinu died, respawned, and still got back to the Baron pit faster than Missing, who was chunked out by him.
Yeah. First of all, he had the teleport for the second time.
That's true, that's true.
Then he had his ultimate the first time to get in there so fast.
This is like a respawn strategy, you know? They're used to
the classic Karthus revive. What was it? The revive.
Revive heal or revive fortify, I believe.
I think it was fortify.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh no, you're gonna dive me under my turret. Fortify. Oh, you've killed me. I'm Karthus. Oh, revive. Requiem.
The understanding of Quinn from Jinu.
New meta.
It's amazing.
This is a massive
He actually
wave,
does play it. He's the player with the most Quinn games, I believe, in a High Challenger.
So this is a massive wave for LGD, and look at that. They've actually caught Yuki. They're going to pin him to the pillar, but he's actually able to sidestep it. That's the Hysterics. He gets popped into the GA with a late flash. PYL is ready for the save, but Y4 steps up to body block along with Amy. Hero's entrance as Jinu tries to get in. He's blinded Gentle, who steps forward on Demonic Ascension. But Amy is the one who ends up getting left behind. Another pillar of ice. Somehow nobody has died yet. Jinu still cutting it out as best he can as Amy has to leave the fight. Xie goes low, and finally they get their first kill as Yuki dies. Amy cutting it out. Gentle so low. And Gentle goes down. Finally, 1 for 1. Sorry, 1 for 2, as I believe Missing died as well very early on into that. But LGD, they've got the bigger health bars. That means they get the tier 2.
Really amazing fight right there. W coming in with the better engage. Quinn wasn't there. Jinu was split pushing into the mid lane, and they had such a great start, but when Jinu came in, he was able to zone out 2 members from the back line. Missing wasn't able to go in. Gentle wasn't able to go in.
Y4 stepping in on the mage. He's a marksman. He was AD carry behind Uzi. Now he's playing Orianna and Victor, teleporting in and immediately dropping his full combo onto a Gnar and chunking him down to half health.
And I think Y4 has really cracked the code about the meta. You know, the traditional...
Out, yeah.
Yeah, the idea is that if you play an ADC, then late game you should have more uses. You have your crit stat right there. But if you play late game mages like Victor and Orianna, does that really still hold true? You actually do more damage. It's just with your full combo. Look at the start of the fight again. I felt like 957 had a great combo straight onto Yuki. He does survive for quite a bit, but good play from the side. Just this corridor has been so crucial for LGD. They managed to pick up missing at the start of it. And watch Jinu come in. He blinds Gentle, keeps him off everyone, and then deals with Condi as well. It's a very difficult situation for W to go forward. And Xie basically has to face tank in front for a very long time. Demonic Flare does end up taking down Yuki, but at that point, there are no surviving members on WE, or they're not healthy enough to rejoin the fight.
Because Jinu was so aggressively flanking, in order for Jinu to be, for Gentle to be useful with that demonic ascension, he had to flash Demon Flare in order to get any damage. Now Yuki, tries to back out of this, but that's the Pillar of Frost, still so slow. As Jinu takes to the skies right in front of him, Yuki gets chunked out to half. Now the inhibitor bottom has been taken down, so LGD are just buying time here. Jinu is able to loop around behind them so quick that Body Slam has been used. Xie is on the side zoning. 957 is ready, but they've split out Condi, and they destroy his health bar so quickly. WE are now forced to back away as Yuki's looking for more, as he doesn't have that last breath. Used it to find the pick.
Such massive plays by Amy today. He's been cutting out the enemy compositions over and over again. And look at how Jinu plays this team fight. Quinn in the late game is not very easy to play around with. You don't really have a true mobility skill. Vault kind of takes you back to the same place, and you don't have that much range either. But look at how he's playing. He's splitting up WE's composition. He's coming from behind and just pecking their eyes out, really distracting them and forcing them to go in a different direction than the main thrust of Yuki. So even though they're not able to split push, they've been able to find the picks by splitting the team fights themselves up.
And like you said, this is such a brilliant strategy against a team that is struggling to find cohesion, that is clearly struggling in communication in these team fights. And WE are just unable to answer. It's a trial by fire, and right now WE are getting burned by LGD.
And the Elder Drake as well.
Well, they're about to be. 190 true damage on that 180 true damage on that Elder Dragon burn. 45 per dragon plus an additional 45 for the Elder. And now the siege begins. They don't have Baron for another 60 seconds until that respawns, but LGD, they are real big right now, and they are not going to waste any time on the map to break down these tier 2s.
Yep, I did think that WE had the the better team fight composition come the sort of in the mid game area where they're all grouped together, and it's very hard for Yasuo to do anything. But LGD have pretty much circumvented that at this point, and I feel like I probably underestimated how much damage Y4 is actually doing. We did see the trade into 957, sorry, into the top lane, and he took down half of his health bar. 957 does not have any magic resistance, and he's trying to play as the main tank of WE. We just saw how hard Y4 was able to chunk him out.
And somehow, despite all of that, LGD, by innovating in 2 new ways, are poised to take this game over WE. They've already broken the inhibitor. They've still got that Elder Dragon buff burning onto them. But WE, they're not going to fall so easily. They know that Elder Dragon will be the final nail in the coffin for this team. So they're pushing forward. They're trying to control vision. But look at that side of the map. It's completely lit up with wards from Amy and PYL. This is some unprecedented vision control from LGD around the pit. And they immediately turn onto it.
Yep, they do have the Elder Drake with the double mountains burning as well, so no chance for WE.
It goes down. Condi steps up. He flashes to the side. Jinu's looking for an opportunity, but it's a front to back. Subjugate goes in, and Yuki finishes off that kill. Meanwhile, 957 still hanging out bottom. He canceled his teleport, so it is just WE running for their base. The slow onto missing. He's got no black shield. The exhaust, he flashes away, but a binding keeps BYL in place. Yuki through the minion wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the knock up and the knock back. as they chase it down. LGD are trying to finish this off. They need to escape with their lives, though. They find one. They're actually able to find another kill. Flash taunt from Xie. It's massive, but it's not enough. A slam against the wall. WE are trying everything they can to get themselves onto the board. Finally, they find one kill at the cost of their entire roster. 957 is pinned back as Chinu will flash into the wall. That's a bit aggressive there, PYL and a Y4.
There's only 957 alive, but LGD with full 4 members is going to take down the entire base. Can 957 actually do anything here?
Look at the damage they do with that double mountain. They turn onto the Nexus and break it down. Clement, LGD take a 2-0 over Team WE.
And I just did not expect this coming out from LGD. They surprised us with 2 new picks that we've never seen before in the LPL. The Victor bot lane and the Quinn into the top lane. And they also have such creative ways of getting themselves ahead. Remember that mid-game, WE was actually finding pick after pick, and they were showing their superiority in the 5v5 as well. It looked like WE were going to take this to a game 3, but the tenacity from LGD just flying into the Baron pit over and over again, even faster than the enemy. Like, they needed to respawn to get back to that Baron, and they were still faster.
I mean, you called the weakness for WE as we saw it happen. If there is a struggle for this team, yes, they've still got pretty strong laning phase. It's when they group up in that mid game, when there's a possibility for a team fight, that they start to struggle just because of small mistakes from the team. And that's exactly what we saw. Amy pounced. The moment you finished that sentence, they pinned Gentle back against the wall. They were able to kill that massive carry. Y4 stepped up with some huge damage on the Death Ray and the Siphon Strike, and then they just chased down the rest of the kills. As that cameraman is just as surprised as I am that LGD just beat Team WE in this 2-0. And with that win, that is going to put LGD at 3-6 in the standings. They're chasing down Suning for that final playoff spot. And just ahead of those teams, can't believe I'm saying this, it's JD, IG, and RNG. There's a single team separating LGD Gaming
from playoffs
from the best 3 teams in our league.
From the best 3 teams, okay. I don't know what to say. Like, I think this is the best that we've seen LGD in such a long time. I haven't felt excited about casting an LGD game for quite a while, but now I am on board the hype train. I feel like the new talent really has worked. The communication between Amy and Yuki has reached the point where they can start running full compositions that prioritize that mid-jungle priority. And for WE, there's still a lot of question marks. Is this still the roster they're going to be moving into the forward? Like we said, they have 6 people manning the bot lane so far. And it just doesn't look like they've decided yet. They had a good play. I felt like WE could have won this game quite handedly, but it was just like 1 or 2 missteps out of the team fights in the Baron pit that really lost their chances.
And I think that's what we need to say about WE, is that this is a team that needs to make a decision. Like we said, not only do they have 6 players in the bottom lane, but even in their play in-game, they can't fully decide, do we want to take a fight here? Do we want to just try to position around the dragon? Are we fully prepared for this situation in where we are in front of the dragon? That fight just keeps coming back to my mind, because that was the whole turning point of the entire game. Because they were indecisive in that moment whether or not to turn, they got punished, and it's a recurring theme with the team.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so sad to see this, because W was the team that we said had the best team fight in the LPL, and that statement is no longer true.
Yeah, bit of a tragedy for them. But now it's time for our analyst to break down that LGD series victory.
Thanks, guys, and we'll break it down nice and quick because the match of the week is going to start very shortly. I'm joined by Brento, Raz Mohammed, as well as Zach Rusty Pie. Welcome to the desk, Raz. We're going to break down this match really quickly. You're sitting backstage watching it, and where the cast left it up was absolutely right. It all took place around a dragon fight, which completely changed the tides of the match.
Yeah, I felt like LGD specifically having the control around this to begin with, the TP play that was coming through, better than we've seen them the previous iterations of LGD.
Absolutely, and the big hero of this game to me is quietly PYL, but at the same time it's Y4 and PYL as a duo working in tandem. Now, the reason that I want to bring up that is because Y4 was playing like the most aggressive Victor that I've ever seen positioning-wise, because his trust in PYL was absolute. He was always getting gobbled up at the correct moment.
Yeah, it felt like he went for the Mata approach. PYL was like, okay, I understand what I'm working with on my team. We have a lot of people that have confidence in their mechanics, and so especially when they were pushing up in the mid lane, there were constant opportunities in which PYL was able to save his teammates. So excellent play from him in that regard.
But a consistent performer for LGD in both matches was their jungler Amy. Set them up for success in Game 1, picked up MVP there, back-to-back MVP performances, playing Gragas twice.
And I think the main thing I love for Amy in this game was that he was able to support the carry in the top side of the map. Jinnu, with the powers you can see with the pose. Of course, Jinnu playing out the Quinn in a proper matchup. Oftentimes we see him falling in a 2v1 situation. This time around, Amy was there. In fact, constantly denying the enemy top laners CS by just rolling up in the lane and saying hi.
Yeah.
There are 2 waves stacked up. You ain't going to get it.
Amy was playing very well.
He's got the Infinity Gauntlet, so he snaps his fingers and WE disappear in that match. 2-0 victory going to LGD.